Good morning, Facebook. Good morning. I'm so excited. I'm not in my usual place because it's really windy outside today and I wanted you to be able to hear us clearly. So if you're watching on replay, just give us a couple of moments to invite our special guest on. Good morning, Paige. How are you, lovely? Good morning. Right, what a crazy week it's been. So before our special guest joins us, I will just have a quick recap of the week because it's been a crazy few days in MIBA HQ. So last weekend, obviously Estella and I were in Amsterdam, and we will be doing a special live to talk about what we learned in Amsterdam at some point. But since we've come back, our schedule has been off the hook. For those of you who don't know, we had a very exciting email from a casting director who's working on behalf of Facebook. And they are looking to see if we are right for their new campaign, which is around how Facebook has bought, how people have used Facebook to bring communities together, okay? And obviously we've done that in MIBA. So we had a bit of a tally this week, and actually we've worked out we have a social media following of 130,000, which is just a little bit insane. So obviously the main Facebook group holds 42,000, which is just awesome. We could fill like a football stadium, which is quite crazy. Can you imagine like MIBS filling a football stadium? It'd be so cool. But 130,000 now. They're because we have separate groups for our networking events around the world, which is just awesome. And I'm so proud. Like a big shout out to our coordinators because they do such an awesome job of bringing you ladies and guys, but we don't have guys at the meeting, but we'll just say hello to the guys. They do an awesome job of bringing ladies from around the world together, from seven-figure earners to startup and everybody in between. And we've created, with the help of our coordinators, an incredibly inclusive environment for women to be able to come and grow their businesses. And if they want to bring their children, they can bring their children. And I'm just very proud of that. So 130,000. So for Facebook to get in contact and say, you might be suitable for our next campaign, that's really exciting. And I did freak myself out, I'm not going to lie. I freaked myself out because I went and watched one of their videos that they'd put out. And it had 36 million views. So just a few views. So if we get that, so like send woo like good vibes out to the universe that we get that, because you guys are going to be featured as well. So that'd be awesome. Right, our special guest is here. I'm so excited to have this person on today. It is a man. So this man is, one of few men that we allow into our tribe. He is very awesome. He is a husband of one of our MIBs, one of our incredible MIBs that has been with us pretty much from the start. And he is somebody that I had the pleasure of getting to meet in person. We had great synergy. He has, he's on a mission to do some good stuff. And that's why I wanted to invite him on, because I want to get people in front of you guys that can help you with your business, you with your lives, and also help raise their awareness and visibility within the world. So let's add him in. I'm so excited. Where is he? The suspense is killing me. Okay, come on. Facebook, do not let me down today. Come on, where are you? He's awesome. It's worth waiting for. So if you're holding on, just wait, because this guy is incredible. Is he there? I think he might be high. I think he might be slightly afraid of all these women. I don't blame him, to be fair. So Adam, if you're there, where are you? Let's see if I can add him in. Adam, can you try and add yourself in again, lovely, please? Do you know what? So when we first started MIBA, I would have literally freaked out that I was having technological issues. And I would have kind of probably cancelled the live or made my excuses and run away or whatever. And now I've just grown to realise that at the end of the day, things happen in your life, in your journey, and with technology, people leave your business, people run away, you have to sack people, you have to change direction, you have to make changes that initially you wouldn't have ever thought you'd got to do. And it can be really, really difficult. So I've been talking a lot at the moment about transition and how I'm going through a process of transition, and not always does it feel like good. But it's only temporarily. It's only kind of that short, sharp pinch. And then when you allow yourself to feel something and kind of recognize that process, it's much easier to deal with. It's a much simpler way of dealing with things. So when you are going through a struggle, when you're going through a frustration, whether it's be a mess up on a Facebook Live or a big traumatic, event that happens in life, let's try them again. It's really important just to allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling and not fight it. I think I've spent a lot of time in my life where I've really had to fight against my emotions, and actually it hasn't been healthy. It's not been a great way to deal with those things. He's here.
Sorry Leona, that's like technical challenge number 1 there, using my phone.
That's all right, we'll let you off. I thought you were in London. How are you? Where are you?
I'm at my office at home.
Oh, I saw on your Facebook you were in London. I was like, is he coming on? Is he not?
Yeah, no, that's Hayley posting pictures from last week.
Oh, Hayley, you confused me. Okay, so let's go back to the start. So Adam is one of our incredible MIBS husbands who I had the pleasure of having lunch with, and we had great synergy. And what you are doing with your work and your passion is very similar to what we do in MIBA. Obviously, you have different ways of working, but actually we do very similar things. We want to help other people help themselves. So I wanted to bring you on, and I wanted for us to allow our audience to understand you and what you do. And actually, we'll be working together in the future, which I'm super excited. Adam is the person that asked me to do TEDx. Just putting that out there. Slightly nervous, not gonna lie. But if we bag Facebook, you might have 60 million views on it before you get me on TEDx. So that's all good. I'll have some practice. So Adam, tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay.
And let's go from there.
Yeah. So I've worked in the nuclear industry, or did work in the nuclear industry for past 20 years, corporate role, or UK based. I was fortunate enough through the business to experience quite a lot of, I guess, personal development. And I didn't really know what it was at the time. I just thought it was another training course to go on, something else to put a tick in the box. And I was fortunate enough to meet one of the facilitators who's actually a coach, a very good friend of mine now, sort of nearly 10 years ago. And never come across coaching before, didn't know what it was, and just connected with Steve. His name is, a fantastic coach, and I just thought, you know what, there's something in what's being shared with me. Well, it wasn't just what's the difference between a leader and a manager. A lot of the material was based in NLP, in neuro-linguistic programming, and I was just fascinated by it. That this concept of we all see the world differently. In NLP terms, we delete and distort and generalize. And I just approached him and said, would you help me? I've really connected with you and the material. And he was just like, yeah, of course. So the past 10 years, I guess, I've submersed myself in anything and everything I can get my hands on from a personal development perspective, whether it be blogs, articles, books, conferences. I've just found a passion for personal development. And then around about 3 years ago, I decided to do my qualification in life coaching, personal performance coaching, and started coaching people, and just fell in love with it. Just absolutely fell in love with the impact coaching can have for people. And it's a little bit of an unknown in the UK. The Far East in the US is quite well established. It's quite common for people to have a coach. And I don't mean business exec coaching. I mean personal coaching for you as an individual. And yeah, earlier in the year, I decided, you know what, this is me. This is what I want to do. I'm not going to lie, I was absolutely bricking it. I guess what some would perceive, Leona, as great job, great career, all the bells and whistles, final salary, pension, all that stuff that comes with it, and I'm going to jump ship and become a self-employed coach. You must be mad.
And I think that is probably quite scary. So when we started MIBA, I can understand, because although I've pretty much always been self-employed, whether that be in television or owning businesses, I never had a regular, salary. But I did. So when we started MIBA, I had to make a decision of, do I grow MIBA? Do I go all in, or do I stay in my business? And I obviously went all into MIBA, and I'm so bloody grateful I did, quite frankly. But it's scary, and people are scared of the unknown. They are scared of change. We're very kind of programmed to be concerned about things, and it depends on your circle. And I think that's also something that's really important, is being around people that are encouraging of you to follow your dreams. Now, if you're going to lose your house tomorrow, it's probably not a good idea, but it's a good idea to chase the things that you really want to do, you're really passionate about. And that's what I liked in you. I liked the fact that you were prepared to take a risk. You were prepared to kind of say, Hayley, like, you're going to have to bear with me. Let's go all in. And I love your relationship with your wife. I mean, she can twerk. She's amazing. Like,
she's gonna love this when she's gonna love you when she sees that.
Shout out to Hayley. His wife is a badass dancer. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about your journey and how, you touched on the fact you love personal development. What do you love so much about it? Because I love personal development, and it's actually almost kind of not an addiction, but it is something that I'm hugely passionate about. And I don't really drink. I don't smoke. I don't really indulge very much, other than kind of learning and investing in myself. But I do have kind of a need for it. I feel not 100% synced if I'm not continuously working on myself. And I think that people think that they can. I mean, I know you're a huge fitness fanatic, which obviously I'm not. And it's like going to the gym once and expecting to have like a six-pack, right? It's something that you have to exercise all the time. And I think that people probably don't realize that. They look at people who are successful and think that, they've done the work once and you've arrived and it's kind of the destination. And it's really not, is it? So can you tell me a little bit about, your journey into personal development and how much you do? Do you study every day? Do you read? What does that look like to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's kind of two questions there. One is the easier one to answer, which is, do I do something every day? If I'm not looking after my wonderful boys or supporting Hayley, we generally don't watch TV.
Yeah.
So I will either be watching, reading, studying, working on myself every day. Now, that's not to say, Leona, it has to be prolonged periods of time. It's the consistency of doing it. It's just something. And it doesn't matter what that something is for me. So I've been meditating every single day since the beginning of the year. And some days that's 10 minutes, some days that's 20 minutes, some days that's 5 minutes. But it's the consistency in doing that day in, day out that drives the results. So just as you said, it's like some people see, it does personal development. I'm doing something every single day. So yeah, in answer to your question, I do literally do some form of personal development, whether it's reading, meditating, working with my clients. Again, it's personal development for me. It's part of what I do, which is an amazing gift for me, because I now work with people who value themselves enough to invest their time, their energy, in some cases having to face up to some things that they might not have faced up to before. And that can be hard for people. And that can be hard for a coach, because I've got to support them and help them get through that challenge that they've not necessarily wanted to overcome before. So that's personal development for me as well.
Yeah.
And then kind of how long, as I said earlier, I've probably been roughly 10 years, and some of that 10 years is only just starting to click, if that makes sense. Some of the material, some of the books I've reread, and I didn't get it first time round, and now I've gone, oh wow, I've just got that. And it does, it takes time and effort and energy, but we've all got that choice. It's not necessarily for everyone, and that's absolutely fine, but we don't have to stay within the conditioned world that we're in. Yeah. And we are, to a certain degree, conditioned.
And I think that there's a level of conditioning around the personal development world, and I want you to stay with me. So if you look at something like Miracle Morning, I don't know if you're familiar with that. So it's a great book, but what happens is people think they need to get up at 4 a.m, like do an hour of spinning and an hour of meditation and eat like chia seeds or whatever for breakfast. And I think it's so far away from their usual habit that it's not something that is sustainable, because it's so different. And what I try and encourage people to do, and I'm not sure whether you're similar, is make small changes so that you can be consistent, because not all the time can you get up at 4 a.m, right? No. Or is that just me?
No, and this is the universe for me, working for me, and I know you believe in all that stuff. So I've been, with a lot of my clients recently, one thing I've come to recognize with clients and just people in general, they'll read a book or they'll see an article or they'll see Leona on Facebook and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And what I've come to recognize is take the principles of what it's saying. Don't take it as a given specific. And that's exactly what you're saying, Leona, is the Miracle Morning is fantastic, but you don't have to follow it to the letter of the law, because it might not work for you. Take the bits that you know will work for you around your lifestyle. So if you can fit, what about people who work nights? They can't get up at 4 o'clock because they're at work. Yeah. So it could be the other end of the day for them, where they need to do those small practices and those small things. But I think what happens is people read a book, they might try something once. Oh, it didn't work for me. Didn't work.
And that's when the frustration comes in, and then they say it doesn't work, and I can tell you it does work, but you have to figure out what works for you. So I do a lot of listening to Audible, because obviously now I'm homeschooling, it's much more difficult to than sitting down and reading a book. So what I do, my routine is I get in the bath in the morning and I listen to my whatever it is that I'm listening to while I'm in the bath, because that's kind of how my life is busy at this present moment in time. I used to get up at 5 a.m. when I lived in the UK, and that was my routine that worked for me then. It doesn't work for me now, and I think people need to understand that it's okay to adjust things and change things to their own lifestyle, because we all have very different commitments, right? So was there a specific point in your life that made you want to shift your direction? Because I know there was for me. I know there was a series of events. There wasn't probably one event, but there was a series of events that kind of got me to the point where I was like, nah, I've had enough, right? So I've got to change my own direction here, because nobody's going to do it for me. Yeah,
absolutely. The industry I was previously in is one where people do not leave unless you die or you retire. We all need electric when all said and done, so you've pretty much got a job for life. When you get into that industry, it's wow, job for life, that's it. You've made it. And I've been conditioned like that, Leona. My dad had worked at the same power station, and it was kind of a pat on the back when I got my job. It was like, that's it, you're done, don't worry about anything else. Like, you've got to really mess up to get fired, and you're not like that, so hey, good job. And I continued on that path of, I was progressing, I was going up the ladder of success and all that good stuff. And then I was at one of the power stations probably a good few years ago, and I just happened to be in one of the offices, and there was a retirement presentation, and this particular person had been there for 45 years. Wow. And I walked off the power station and rang Hayley and said, I'm done. I can't. It's not that I had a bad job or I disliked it. Like, I never woke up and thought, oh, but it wasn't setting me alight, Leona. It wasn't what I wanted to do. And it was that moment that I knew then that I was going to leave and do something for myself and something that lights me up and a passion. And it was that moment that really stuck with me since. I was just stood there like, you've been in this little cocoon of a place for 45 years. And I was like, wow, done.
Yeah. So there are going to be people that are watching this or listening to this all around the world that probably feel, you know, in the exact same place that you were at that moment in time, but they don't know how to get from where they are to where they want to be. And they don't know what steps to take. It feels so far away, you know, that feels so far out of their reach that they kind of stay frozen. What would your advice be to those people that are listening?
The one thing that humans are not very good at, because we're not designed to do it in such a way, is we often have desires and dreams and objectives and goals and all this kind of good stuff. And we're designed to stay safe. So in essence, that means that we'll talk ourselves out of it. So the bit for me is to actually take some time with your partner, loved one, or if you're single by yourself, some dedicated time and space, and just really start noting down what you want to do with your life. Because until you actually start writing it down, or you know, digital, whichever way you want, and looking at where you are right now and what it's going to take to get to where you want to be, it's always just going to be up here. And it'll keep churning around in there, and it'll just keep going and going and going until it's too late. And lo and behold, you'll look back and say, wow, that's 5 years ago. I had the opportunity to perhaps change career, perhaps move abroad, whatever it is, and I didn't. So I think what I'm simply saying, Leona, is what we don't do is actually sit down and say, this is what I want from my life. Because if you can't articulate it, if you can't say what it is you want, and then put a plan in place, and again, it doesn't have to be, you know, a grand plan. It can literally be what's the tiniest little step I need to do now. And if that's, I want to work abroad, for argument's sake, the first little tiny step is, I might just need to update my CV. When can I do that? I can do that next week. And what we also do is we blow things out of all proportion. So some people, I say, I could never work abroad. Never, I couldn't do that. I'd love to. And when you start breaking it down into small, easily digestible steps, actually it becomes a lot more realistic. And there'll be a point where you're like, right, I've done my CV, I've put it out there, I've gone on LinkedIn, I've done this, I've done that. You've done all the tiny steps that don't need any money, don't really need much time. You get to a point where you've got a decision to make. But up until that, most of the time, it's putting some focus in, it's putting some energy in, and it's just moving things ever so closer. And that's where I would start, for sure.
Yeah. I think people get somebody said to me yesterday, you're always on the go, you're always doing something, there's always new news. And that's because I do stop. So I do physically stop and have downtime and, you know, take time away, and I enjoy my friends and family. But in my business and in developing myself personally, I don't stop. I don't kind of go, okay, so I've made it, you know, turnover's great, impact's great. Oh, now I can kind of sit back. I haven't. So when people kind of put you on a pedestal and are like, oh my God, you're so fantastic. I'm like, I have only just scratched the surface. I want to create massive impact. And to create massive impact, I have to take steps every single day. But I think people think I leap from one place to the next. And it isn't. It's incremental things. You know, it's reaching out to people. It's so the when we signed with Principal Media in Beverly Hills for a documentary series, that conversation had been happening for 8 months prior to signing that contract. But people only hear you know, you sign the contract, it comes out of nowhere, and it's amazing. They didn't see all of the back work and the meetings and the tiredness and the, you know, the late nights and that's, you know, it's our duty of care in MIBA to show the real sides of being an entrepreneur. And it isn't just a laptop lifestyle. You don't just get to sit on the beach with your Apple Mac or whatever you've got and, you know, sit there and love life with your pina colada. It is a lot of work. And I got absolutely hammered last week, the week before, for saying that it's hard work. And you know what? I'm not going to change my opinion on it. It's hard work. And as a, you know, as a leader, as somebody who is looked up to, I don't want to be the person that lies to people. And I think in the coaching industry, unfortunately, and I'm known to talk about this, and I'm known to touch on this, there are a lot of coaches that kind of cookie cutter things, right? And that frustrates me on a great deal, because there are a lot of people that are taking advantage of people that can't afford their services, and I'm talking way out of their budget. And these people are going into hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of debt, you know, ridiculous. I mean, it's just, the stories that I've heard are crazy. And I think people like you and people like me and people that are really relatable and real, we have to put a price on ourselves. We're in business, we have to pay our bills, and we want to grow our own businesses. But it's also important to let people know that they need to do their research before you work with somebody. Please do your research. Please make sure that that person is 100% aligned with what you want to achieve and has been and done what you want to do, or kind of understands it on a level, on a deep. They haven't just Googled it. They haven't just like schlepped it from a course that they did previously and made it their own. I think that's really important. I don't know whether you've seen the rise of the coach, and I think it's going to continue to come.
Yeah, especially with there's so much popularity around personal development and personal growth. It's and terms like, you know, everybody should have a coach. Well, according to who? You know, hiring a coach is a very personal thing. For me, I take my time to understand what the client's looking to achieve, because I just might not be the right coach, you know. And there's got to be some form of rapport. I'm going to be spending time with these people over a prolonged period of time. And for me personally, I would suggest not Googling, to be perfectly honest. I think it would be referrals and invite only. Those are the things for me. So my client base is growing because people are referring people to me, which tells me I'm impacting them. And I don't need to do you know, lots of outwardly facing stuff, because I want people to come to me because they've been referred to me and I've made an impact on my clients enough that somebody says, oh yeah, you need to go and see Adam. And you know, just like anything else, if you're gonna get you know, somebody to come in your house and do some work, a service work or a solicitor, you know, you do your homework, you get an average balance of cost. Is it too cheap? You know, is it like, well, that doesn't seem quite right because that's well below par, or, you know, it's tens of thousands of pounds. Hang on a minute, what am I getting for that? What impact does that person have? Who have they worked with that can justify and verify?
Yeah, of course.
And can I go and talk to those people? You know, I'm more than happy to give people, clients that are happy to say, Adam, yeah, give people my details and they can talk to me about the work we've done. And I think that's the best way for me, is let my clients do the talking. For me to say, look, if you want to understand the impact I've had, the work I've done with people, then go and talk to them, you know, without me there, and make your judgment from there. And yeah, I do see there is, unfortunately, there are people taking advantage in the industry.
Yeah,
and
because it's a growing trend, and it's amazing that there's growing trend,
yeah.
because we want people to, you know, to invest in themselves and get healthier mentally and all of that fun stuff. But with that comes people that don't have your best interest at heart. And that's why I am very picky about who I choose to affiliate myself with, associate myself with, whatever. Because of that, because of the whole, you know, the whole system. So where can people find you? So if somebody was watching this or listening to the podcast, where can people find you?
So I've got my website, mycoachforlife.com. Facebook page. My Facebook page is more, I just like to post some daily inspiration on there. I don't spend that much time on there, but yeah, I just like to every day just post something that's a bit impactful, just to set you off, just to get you going in the morning. LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn as well. Obviously, the article that you shared with the community about that was published on LinkedIn. So yeah, those are the main three areas. One thing I'd just like to touch on, Leona, that you mentioned there, and this is really important for me, is people to understand what coaching is and isn't.
Yeah.
Because I've had people come to me like, "Oh, I've been told you can fix me," and it's really important that people understand that coaching is not therapy, it's not counselling, it's not consultancy or mentoring. It's about forward-facing and looking at where you want to take your life in the future. It's thought-provoking. We might sometimes look backwards to help move forward, but it's not predominantly to help people with past traumas or things that they've experienced. It's not that. And if people are telling you that's like a warning flag for any of the viewers, just kind of step back from that a little bit, because that is by definition not really coaching.
So I don't have a label on what I do. I actually don't. I just say I'm the co-founder of MIBA, because predominantly I aim to inspire on a mass scale. So I don't call myself a coach. No. But people do have one-to-one calls with me to help them with their business. Any kind of, typically I help women with confidence issues, and confidence issues, you know, stopping them moving in their business. What would you say the main difference is between a coach and a mentor? Because this question comes up a lot.
Yeah. So the main difference is a mentor is somebody who's predominantly, and I'm talking really generalist here, so, and I will emphasize that this is generally speaking. A mentor is someone who's got experience, they've been there, they've got the t-shirt, and they can help guide you through with their experience and with their skills and their knowledge. A coach is more thought-provoking in asking you the right question in order for you to find out the best way for you to do it. Now, they may offer resources, they may offer anecdotal stories or things from their past, but it's generally about asking questions in order for that person to figure out what it is they want to do and the direction that they want to take. And the important bit here is, Leona, is somebody could come to me and ask me, well, what do you think, Adam? And I say, well, do you know what? You should do this, 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 and this. They go away and they do it, and it doesn't work for them because they're not Adam. So you've almost given them advice to go and do something because you perceive that that's right for them, but they don't do it the way they would do it. So it's helping them figure out how they want to move forward, how they want to live their life, how they want to achieve whatever it is they want to achieve. So I'm not saying I don't always slip into, have you considered this, have you considered that? Because I do, of course, I'm human. But those are the main difference between a mentor and a coach, I think, is the best way I could describe it. That's
perfect. So obviously you have a MIB for a wife, which is very exciting.
It is.
So it's interesting being a dad in business. And a lot of people, we got a lot of stick for not supporting dads in business. But my argument is, I don't understand how to be a dad. I'm a mum. We had a lot of angry men, and I was like, you're just jealous because you're not in our tribe. I know you're jealous. So seeing how Hayley has had to go through all of the stuff that she's dealt with, would you say there's a difference I know this is a bit controversial.
No,
It's
no,
okay.
go for it.
It's MIBA.
Yeah.
Would you say there's a difference between a dad in business as
Yes.
to being a mum in business?
Yes. Yeah.
You would.
And I think when we met for lunch, one of my passions and my client base as it's growing tends to be females in business.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've witnessed as Hayley's husband is something that I do my best to empathise and understand. I will never fully understand. And as I've developed as a coach and as an individual, what I've recognised is the multiple different hats that Hayley has to try and have at different times. So first and foremost, she's the primary carer for the boys. And you'll know this for your children, I'm sure, and I'm sure your husband does.
Yeah.
The boys will literally walk past me to ask Hayley for a drink. Like, or can I have something to
I don't know why they do it. It's like, hello, your dad
what?
is just
And Hayley will say, you've just walked past your dad. So if she's in the house trying to work and I'm here as well, they'll just bombard her. When she's not here, completely different. I don't have that. She has to try and because all you MIBs want to be successful and you are successful, she has got a drive and a passion for being the best possible businesswoman and having the best possible businesses that she possibly can. So that's hat number 2. Some point she wants to be a wife every now and again, and we go out for date night and try not to talk about businesses or boys and try to just be with each other.
Difficult. That's difficult, right?
Leona, I'm not even going to lie. We've had some pretty serious conversations about should we still be married over the last few years with the businesses, with me leaving work. And, you know, we've sat and said, no, we're going to work. This is where people throw in the towel. This is the bit where it breaks.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Because that's all you end up talking about is business, kids. It's like, oh, I forgot that you were actually my husband or wife, and we had a connection before we had all of these things that were going on. That's difficult, right? That is a difficult situation to be. And also, she wants to be Hayley at some point.
I was just about, you just beat me. There's number 4. Yeah. There's hat number 4. She wants to, when does she get time to just go and get nails done or go and have a facial or just go and do some shopping or, and she's always at the bottom of the pile. So great example this morning. I got the boys up at breakfast and she came downstairs and said, what are you doing? You don't need to be at work. And she kind of looked and I said, just go back to bed. I'll bring you a cup of tea and your breakfast in bed. You don't need to be at work. She only got home at, I think, 10:30 last night and she'd been at the clinic. Well, we'd been up with the boys since 6 and she came home at 10:30. That's not an average day. No, and this is the bit you were mentioning before is people see you're going to Disney in November. That must be nice. Yeah, but she's pulling those sorts of days most days of the week. Yeah. So why is that different for me? Sorry, going back to your original question was, I don't have that primary care. Of course, I've looked after my boys. I'm very, very fortunate and I've created a life which allows me this year, which has been amazing, to spend most of the summer holidays with my boys.
Yeah, which has unreal. It's been amazing to watch, actually. It's
unreal. But again, people will see that and think, oh, it's all right for him. I've created that future with Hayley. We've built that together. And I don't have the constant mummy, and I don't have all those different hats. So the difference there is I don't have to wear all those different hats. And I do think, when she watches this, she'll laugh. Like, it is easier for me to a greater or lesser degree. And I know she would love to spend more time with the boys, but we've got a plan. We work the plan. We're sticking to it. We know what we want. We've got a big vision board in our kitchen. It's huge. And we share that with the boys. They understand what we're doing. We talk to them about it. So yeah, there is a big difference between being a dad in business and a mum in business for sure. And let people shoot me down for it, but there is a big difference.
I was like, I have no idea how to be a dad. I was brought up by a dad, so I'm probably more understanding about single dads and all of that kind of stuff because I saw what he had to go through. But I'm not a man, so I can't relate as much as I try and get into that space. I'm a good actress, but I'm not that good. Adam, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have any final words of wisdom?
Final words of wisdom. One thing that I've been really passionate about just recently, and something for all the viewers or people who listen to this at some point, is the use of the language that we use, Leona, and just cottoning on to some of your habitual language that you use. I'd love to do another podcast just on language, because I'm really passionate about even things like, oh, thank God it's Friday. That little sentence just by itself insinuates that you've had a terrible week and you've got through another week of life. And
that's pretty rough, right?
Yeah, but you hear it. It's common language. Everybody says it.
And I used to do the same for my birthdays.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely dreading turning 30. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to be 31. I'm going to be 30. Now, I turned 34 this year, and I'm like, I turned 34. Do you know what? I don't look too bad for 34. I've lived a really nice life. I have, I've worked really hard. I've experienced the most amazing things. I should celebrate the fact I'm going to be 34. And absolutely. I've lived the life I have. So I'm definitely, in the past, I've definitely been guilty. So now you've said you're going to do another interview, after this call, I'm going to tap you up to get your diary out, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Let's do it.
Standard. Okay, ladies. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Adam, for joining us. And we'll catch Adam very soon, because I'm going to tap him up for his diary, and we're going to talk about language and how it can change your patterns and thoughts and your future and your bank balance and everything else. So thank you so much. Take care, ladies. Have a good one. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Take care.